Powerful stories that change the way you think. Impactful investigations that change the way you see.
How many times has your car been stolen?
5 times.
Yeah. What? Do you think that you're a responsible owner of tigers?
I damn sure do.
Heartwarming moments that change the way you feel.
I feel amazing.
Now available in a place that changes the way you watch TV. Inside Edition, streaming.
A 70-year-old woman is enjoying a morning stroll with her dog. Now keep your eye on that blue SUV. Out jumps an armed thug in a mask and hoodie. He even points a gun at the woman's pooch before grabbing her purse and running off. The entire encounter was captured on surveillance camera in broad daylight and lasted only 6 seconds. Diana DiGiacomo was visiting her daughter in the upscale Lincoln Park neighborhood of Chicago when it happened.
I was horrified. I was terrified. I called 911 and I just lost it. Because that's when it hits you that this guy just had a gun in your face and could have killed you.
She says the robber rifled through her bag before tossing it on the street.
I was stunned, and then I walked down the street, I picked up my purse, and my phone and wallet are still there. So I was thoroughly confused.
But there was a method to his madness, as the victim soon found out.
I walked back across the street to go down to my daughter's house, and I realized my car was gone. They watched me get out of the car. They watched me lock the car. They knew the key fob was sitting in the top of my purse.
And here they are. Just a minute after robbing Diana, they're caught on another surveillance camera using her key fob to steal her car while the getaway driver takes off in the blue vehicle.
Imagine it's just infuriating to see the boldness of these people who just taking your stuff.
Yeah, at 11:22 in the morning. It's no longer you have to worry about going out at night. You can't walk your dog in the morning.
It was a hair-raising find. The National Police in Colombia say they noticed something suspicious when this traveler was scanned through the airport security monitors in Cartagena. The passenger had a ticket bound for Amsterdam in the Netherlands. But first, officials wanted to take a closer look at what was under his hat. At first, it looked like just a head of hair. Upon closer inspection, officials say it was actually a wig. And when they cut away at it, they found something that shocked them even more: drugs. 19 capsules of cocaine weighing about 220 grams were found sewn into the hairpiece. A spot testing of the substance gave a positive result for cocaine. The man was arrested on suspicion of trafficking, manufacturing, and carrying narcotics. The police commander reportedly said so far this year, 450 people have been arrested for trafficking. An armored truck driver's worst fears come true.
Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it.
Police in Memphis, Tennessee say 3 men armed with assault rifles snuck up on her while she was servicing an ATM and pointed their weapons at her while they helped themselves to boxes of cash.
Don't do it.
Within seconds, they had the money and jumped into a white Nissan Altima to get away. It happened on Valentine's Day, and cops say they are still looking for the suspects. They're hoping these photos will help someone identify them. They're all described as black males around 5'10 or 5'11 in height, with slim builds in their mid-20s. While they were all wearing ski masks, one of them wore a red and white Coke jacket. Anyone with information is asked to submit their tips to Memphis Crime Stoppers.
Cops are on the hunt for a stolen car. They find it parked at a shopping center. The suspected thieves still inside.
Driver of the vehicle, step out and face away from us.
Keep coming, keep coming.
Suspect number 1 is taken into custody. Suspect number 2 is also nabbed.
All right, hands up, walk backwards.
But there's a unique twist as to how police found the stolen car. It was detective work by the car's owner, Catherine Blaine.
When I saw the car was gone, I was like, there is a 0% chance I'm ever getting it back.
But then she remembered she'd left her AirPod case inside her car's center console when she went jogging and returned to find her car missing.
Car was gone, AirPods in hand, and I realized my AirPods case is still in the car. And so I pulled up the Find My app.
Using the Find My app on her phone, Catherine could track the location of her AirPods in real time so she could let police know exactly where her car was. Her car was stolen in Venice Beach, California. Her app showed it was 50 miles away in Irvine.
Technology helped us out in a very big way, and we were able to get this vehicle back to the victim the very same day it was taken, which is miraculous.
5 hours after the car was stolen, she had it back with one big change. Police say somehow the suspects found the time to paint her entire bumper bright blue.
It's blue, but it's back, so it could be worse.
One suspect pleaded not guilty. The other is being arraigned next month.
If these people look familiar to you, cops in California would like a word. Irvine police say Adelina Dinu and Cosmin Miclescu, both from Romania, were arrested for allegedly scamming an elderly man out of jewelry.
The female walked up, put a piece of jewelry on the man's neck. While she was doing that, she was actually taking his gold necklace at the same time. So as they're leaving, he realizes that he's now got costume jewelry on him and tries to stop him. Cops
say the necklace was worth $2,000. The pair were arrested when they returned to Irvine days later. Police say they had $8,000 cash on them and other pieces of costume jewelry, begging the question, are there other victims out there? Dinu and Miclescu were both charged with grand theft and theft from an elder adult over $950. They have pleaded not guilty to the charges against them and have been released on bond.
A dad of a hockey player is seen walking on the ice, then all of a sudden shoves two referees who are teenagers. The disturbing video was shared by the Pacific Northwest Amateur Hockey Association in Seattle, Washington. The organization's president said in part of a statement, "The video we are sharing is difficult to watch, but it is crucial that we confront the seriousness of what happened. This incident serves as a stark reminder of why maintaining a safe and respectful environment in our sport is so essential. In my over 40 years in hockey, I have never witnessed anything so completely unacceptable." The referees that were pushed were 13 and 14 years old. The organization says the dad involved in the incident has been suspended from participating in any USA Hockey sanctioned activities within the Pacific Northwest Amateur Hockey Association. This includes attending or participating in games, practices, or any other USA Hockey PNAHA sanctioned events. This suspension remains in effect pending the outcome of an investigation in a USA Hockey Bylaw 10 hearing. According to a police report, the man claimed he was acting in defense of his son after he was punched and kicked for about 30 seconds by another player and the referees did nothing to stop it. The police report alleges that there is no evidence that supports the father's claim that he acted in defense of his son at the time of the shoving, based on witness statements and video. The dad has since been charged with 2 counts of misdemeanor assault.
It's Roman candle road rage. Cops say a woman driving down the street was bombarded with fireworks shot from this pickup truck. You can see the moment the truck roars past her, immediately followed by the barrage. Imagine being at the wheel as these fireworks come flying at you.
She was terrified. All of a sudden, several barrages of fireworks are launched toward her vehicle.
The driver says she has no idea why she was targeted. She says she and other drivers on the road that night could have been seriously hurt. Police outside Seattle are investigating whether the same truck was involved in another prior fireworks attack last year. Chelsea Justice is the homeowner whose security camera caught the incident.
Do you think this was the same guy?
Absolutely. And when I saw the video, I was just like, that's the truck. I knew it immediately.
Scary stuff.
You've never seen a road rage incident like this.
I'm gonna kill you! I'm gonna kill you!
The woman sprawled across the hood is going nuts.
You're dead!
You can see the crazed woman through the windshield.
Give me this! Give me this!
You could tell she just wasn't in her right mind.
Ashton Miano says she had just left work and was on her way to pick up her son when it happened. So what led to the angry confrontation? Moments earlier, Ashton Miano says she honked her horn at another motorist who had just cut her off. Next thing she knows, the motorist is jumping on her hood, screaming.
After I honked, she slammed on brakes immediately and put her car in park and got out immediately, yelling, screaming, asking what the problem was.
At one point, she yanked off the windshield wiper. Then she repeatedly hits the glass. She is relentless.
I did realize that she couldn't get to me where I was, which is why I stayed in the car.
Passing motorists were stunned at what was unfolding in front of them. Some of them pulled over and tried to help. When officers arrived, they took Nancy Caponino into custody. She was charged with assault and disorderly conduct.
Texas deputies took the brunt of a head-on car crash. On an early foggy morning, a pair of deputies from the Harris County Sheriff's Office turned onto Interstate 10. Multiple 911 calls had come in about a wrong-way driver. Moments later, the officers noticed headlights coming directly towards them.
We had attempted to stop the vehicle by slowing down in front of it and hoping that the vehicle was going to stop, but it didn't.
The officers turned on their flashing lights in the hopes of alerting the driver. But the driver continued until they collided with the officer's patrol car head-on.
I would rather have someone hit me than that car pass us and hit a family. And I don't think we're heroes. I think an average or a reasonable officer would have done the same thing to protect the communities.
The driver of the car was arrested on suspicion of driving while impaired. Despite the impact, both deputies walked away with minor injuries.
In other news today, a horrific murder that has some making comparisons to the biblical story of Cain and Abel. One brother is in custody. His younger brother is dead after being brutally beaten in his apartment. As Stephen Fabian reports, cops say the older brother killed his sibling and a cat, set the apartment on fire, and then called police.
It's an unspeakable allegation, something straight out of biblical times. This once promising young man stands accused of murdering his own brother and mutilating his body. 31-year-old Matthew Hurtgen appeared in court in Princeton, New Jersey via Zoom today. He did not enter a plea and waved as he was taken back to his cell. Police found the body of his 26-year-old brother Joseph inside their wealthy parents' condo. Cops described the crime scene here as gruesome and way overboard and say Matthew Hurtgen beat his younger brother with a golf club and stabbed him to death. He's also alleged to have gouged out his brother's eyes and to have killed the family cat. Some say the horrific murder is an echo of the biblical story of Cain and Abel. In the book of Genesis, Cain kills his brother in a jealous rage.
Where is Abel, my brother?
Am I my brother's keeper?
Now art thou cursed.
The Hurtgen brothers came from a privileged background, and their lives offered so much promise. Matthew, the accused killer, also played soccer at Wesleyan University, but his social media posts reveal a dark side. He shot this video focused on his own shadow walking alone. The only sound is the crunch of leaves beneath his feet.
If convicted, Matthew Hurtgen could face 30 years to life in prison.
It's a police pursuit that ends with the suspect being tackled by a Good Samaritan just trying to help.
It's rolling.
This is video from a Denver, Colorado police helicopter.
He's cutting through the gas station on the northwest side.
The Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office says the incident happened more than a year ago, but could only now release the dramatic video since the court case has wrapped up. During the pursuit, you can see the driver of an alleged stolen car go over the grass and sidewalk.
I don't know if he lost a tire. Maybe he hit something.
The vehicle starts to break down.
I can see it's on the rim. It's smoking. A lot of heat from that underside.
The driver then crashes.
Right, just got tagged by a truck. Garrison. He is in the middle of the intersection.
The driver takes off. Then you could see a few guys running towards him.
Foot chase. They're southbound, just west of Garrison.
The Good Samaritan keeps at it.
They're fighting.
Finally, an arrest is made.
These teenagers are pouring out of a house. Look, as many as 200 of them. And here's the homeowner.
I got a call from a neighbor saying that my party was blocking her driveway and that she saw people climbing in and out of the windows of my house. And I wasn't having a party, so I knew something was up.
That's right, it was an illegal house party. Kyle Grasser says he sunk every penny he had into building the house in Nashville that was targeted. He recorded video as he entered his house.
It was a nightmare scenario, pretty much what you can imagine with 150 to 200 teenagers breaking into a home to throw a party. Walked into the house and it was just broken glass all over the floor.
The damage was extensive and heartbreaking for Grasser to see.
They ripped out a lot of the fixtures in the home. Some video of 4 kids hanging from the chandelier in the living room that was ultimately then torn from the ceiling.
That's Grasser holding a speaker he yanked from the party. He says the teens did more than $60,000 worth of damage. Turns out the house was chosen because it was listed for sale online. This is the invite that went out to students at 7 high schools around Nashville.
A digital invite across Snapchat, Instagram, different social media platforms that listed the home address, the time the party was supposed to start.
And get this, apparently they've done it before. The ring is suspected of throwing a New Year's Eve party at another house in the neighborhood using the same MO.
They're pretty blatant and loud about it.
This could have turned out a lot worse than it did. A driver's dash cam caught the moment a car drove off an overpass and landed on Interstate 5 in Sacramento. The car landed on its roof, but luckily didn't strike any other cars. The driver of the wayward vehicle was reportedly taken to the hospital in critical but stable condition.
A man in his 60s is in critical condition after a hit and run. The LA Police Department is looking for a suspect who is caught on camera leaving the scene of an accident with a pedestrian. A store security camera shows the black Ford F-150 truck pull to the side of the road, leaving a man crumpled on the ground. Several witnesses got out of their vehicles to help. The suspect, seen in a blue hoodie and baseball cap, exits his truck with a phone in his hand. He walks near the victim, then back on the sidewalk, while appearing to type on his cell phone. Seconds later, the suspect walked away and took off in his truck. Authorities are now on the hunt for the driver. California law says leaving the scene of an accident that causes injury or death is a felony. Anyone with information on the driver is asked to call the LA Regional Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS.
Imagine seeing this terrifying scene on your doorbell camera. Someone taking a flying leap at your front door. Then he backheels it before taking off.
He actually catapulted his whole body onto my door.
Crystal Dombrowski saw what was unfolding on her doorstep outside Jacksonville, Florida, while she was out of town.
What was your reaction? What did you think was going on?
I immediately froze. My heart was racing. Couldn't catch my breath.
Crystal says she can only imagine what could have happened had her door flown open. In an incredible stroke of luck, she had just reinforced it.
I had put door armor on my home as a preemptive because I was going to be away.
Front doors can be a vulnerable spot in your home security network.
That was way too easy. That's ridiculous.
But there are things you can do to turn your front door into a fortress, says home improvement expert Jason Cameron. First tip, instead of small screws, drill in 3-inch screws right into the frame. Second tip, install a large steel strike plate like this, just like Crystal did.
We've got 6 screws here that are in the framing, and we also have a much larger strike plate. This is a security strike plate because that's going to distribute the force.
Third tip, add a reinforcement lock that blocks the door from the inside. We put this fortress door to the test. Jason kicked the door 25 times. Back kick, also body slams. The fortress door holds firm, something this homeowner knows can be a lifesaver.
Cops did arrest a minor in the incident, and he's been charged with misdemeanor trespassing.
A canine leads his new partner into the woods. They're on the hunt for a driver police say ran off during a traffic stop in Georgia. He was wanted for multiple alleged felonies.
Here.
Canine Zaid eventually sniffs his way to a sewage drain far into the woods.
Off, league. Off, league. Get on your knees.
The suspect then climbs out of the drain and is arrested.
That's a good boy.
In 1 week, this dynamic duo has made 8 total arrests together, including several drug raids. The suspect in this case now faces several charges, including driving with a suspended license.
A mother of a toddler is facing child neglect charges after her little one was spotted alone in the parking lot of a bar in a car. Cops say the child was alone for as much as 2 hours.
There's a toddler left alone in a car, and cops say her mom's in the bar having a drink. The drama started after a concerned citizen called 911.
There's a baby out here in a car by itself. This is wrong.
When cops in Edgewater, Florida get there, they find a 2-year-old girl crying in the car seat, wearing thin clothing not suitable for the weather outside, 56 degrees. The vehicle is unlocked. Then, a guy comes out of the bar. He's mom's boyfriend.
She's inside. I just grabbed the keys from her and check on her.
Check on who?
Her.
Cops find mom inside the bar.
Got an idea why we're here.
Yeah. Cops say the little girl had been left alone in the car for as long as 2 hours, although the mom claims she and her boyfriend had checked on the toddler several times.
And I told her multiple times to go in the car and go to my house.
Did she have any drinks while she was in there?
At the very last minute, I think yes.
As both sit in a police car, their conversation gets heated.
I literally cannot even just believe this all happened, honestly.
I can. I brought her to a bar.
Yeah, and you know what?
And you sat inside.
And I also asked you to leave how many times?
The mom, 35-year-old Christina Vitucci, and her boyfriend, 39-year-old Joshua Harris, have pleaded not guilty to child neglect.
That child is now being taken care of by her grandmother.
A police officer is hit by a suspected drunk driver. That same officer then saves the driver after his car catches fire. This is body camera video of the rescue released by the Rowlett Police Department in Texas. You can see the officer get out of his patrol car and make his way over to the car that police say crashed into him.
Hey, your vehicle's on fire, down vehicle.
When the driver doesn't respond, that's when the officer uses his elbow to smash the window and pulls him out. All of this unfolding on a busy highway in the middle of the night.
Hey, stay with me, stay with me.
Hey, let's get him over the barrier, because if we get hit again, come on in.
Officers put the driver on the other side of the barrier. Meanwhile, you can hear someone still on the phone in the suspect's car.
Hi, ma'am, this is Corporal Bowen with the Rowlett Police Department. He's okay. We're getting an ambulance on the way, okay?
The officer who was hit starts to feel the pain from the crash.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm just dizzy, that's it.
Sit down.
I think I stood up too fast after it happened, really.
Sit down.
They both were taken to the hospital. The officer has since been released. The driver is facing DUI charges. A former Olympic athlete is now added to the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitives. Take a good look at your screen. This is Ryan Wedding, who competed in snowboarding for Canada at the 2002 Winter Olympics in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Wedding went from being an elite athlete to running one of the most sophisticated drug trafficking networks in North America.
Wedding and 15 other suspects were charged last year for roles in a drug smuggling operation. Prosecutors allege he's also involved in multiple murders related to drug crimes.
Ryan Wedding, our lead defendant, is a fugitive, and we've been seeking his whereabouts since last year.
Investigators believe Wedding is hiding in Mexico under protection of a drug cartel. A $10 million reward is being offered for information leading to his arrest and/or conviction. This is Inside Edition Digital.
high-speed pursuit ended in a pit maneuver in Georgia.
Hands right now!
The Pickens County Sheriff's Office was told to be on the lookout by a neighboring sheriff's department for a suspect in an aggravated assault case. Authorities say they tried to pull the suspect over, but instead they were led on a chase by a pickup truck on Highway 136. Dash camera video shows the truck swerving across the median and back. At times, the speeds on this two-lane highway tops 90 miles per hour. For the safety of others driving on the road, the deputy needed to end this pursuit.
I'm gonna try to get a pit when I can.
758, they're saying that they're trying to turn off the car remotely.
Once they were a safe distance from other vehicles, the officer attempted a pit maneuver.
Hands right now! Right now! Keep them aloft! Do you understand me?
Officers took the suspect into custody. He was charged with numerous traffic offenses, drug possession, felony fleeing, and attempting to elude.
Now a chase that looks like a scene out of the Old West, except the Wild Wild West didn't have palm trees.
Giddy up!
Get that back here now. Get it.
A police horse named Nash chases a drug suspect through the streets of Jacksonville. The horse gallops through a red light, dodging cars.
Hey, get on the ground. You're going to get run over.
Sheriff's Officer Cassie Hare is in the saddle, and Nash, a Clydesdale, isn't horsing around.
Come on, Nash. Come on, Nash. Get him, boy. Bro, you're not going to run us on the horse. You better stop.
Finally, the out-of-breath suspect gives up.
Get on the ground.
And is apprehended, thanks to some serious horsepower.
Get him, Nash. Get that Batman. Get that Batman, Nash. Get him. Get him now. Hey, get on.
The suspect was charged with resisting an officer.
Let me see your hands! Let me see your hands! Let me see your hands!
A police canine tracked down a suspect who authorities say crashed a stolen van into a Florida gym. The Lee County Sheriff's Department says deputies were called out to a Smash Fitness after someone drove into the gym's windows, then ran away on foot. The vehicle matched the description of a van that had been stolen in a carjacking that same day. Canine Dundee was dispatched with his handler and other officers to find the suspect.
The county sheriff's office! Let me see your hands! Let me see your hands!
The suspect was apprehended while hiding in the bushes. According to the sheriff's office, the suspect was charged with carjacking, driving under the influence, property damage, and leaving the scene of a crash.
A man appears to be shopping for jewelry at Tiffany's when all of a sudden, authorities say he grabs the goods and runs off. Here it is again in slow motion. Police in Orlando, Florida say the suspect, dressed in a red polo shirt and hat, now identified as Jathan Gilder, told employees that he was representing a professional athlete on the Orlando Magic basketball team. He asked to see 2 pairs of earrings worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. When they were brought out, investigators say he can be seen on camera grabbing a pair and taking off. Authorities say Gilder's license plate was tracked and he was taken into custody. Police say they saw Gilder swallow what was believed to be the jewels. They executed a search warrant to locate the stolen goods. Tiffany & Co., of course, is synonymous with American luxury. Founded in 1837 with its headquarters on Fifth Avenue in New York City, it's famous for its little blue box and this iconic cinematic moment in Breakfast at Tiffany's. Of course, breakfast at Tiffany's isn't supposed to mean eating the jewels. As for Gilder, he now faces several charges in connection with the crime, including robbery with a mask and grand theft. He has not entered a plea. No word yet on whether the swallowed goods have reappeared.
Now take a look at this video. That appears to be a man having a medical emergency, but authorities say he is not having a seizure. They say he is faking it as a distraction so that his accomplice can steal 2 very pricey bulldog puppies. Jim Murray reports.
Keep your eye on this guy in a pet store. He keels right over, spread-eagled on the floor. Everyone thinks he's having a medical emergency, maybe a seizure or a heart attack, but cops say he's actually faking it. Why? To create a distraction for his alleged accomplice, the guy in the woolly hat. While everyone is paying attention to the stricken man, the other guy slips to the back of the store. He grabs 2 puppies valued at over $4,000 each.
Hey, what are you doing? Hey, no, stop!
Staff members tackle the thief. He goes flying, and so do the puppies. But he's not surrendering. He grabs the dogs and runs out the door. The other puppies go nuts at the commotion. Bianca Rose Larson manages Perfect Pets outside Denver.
That person pretended to have a seizure as a distraction so the other person could steal puppies?
Yes, absolutely. The guy that stole the puppies, he walks over there as soon as he sees that both my coworkers are distracted. He makes his break.
So what happened to the 2 puppies? Well, one of them has just been found. He's an English bulldog named Cujo. Cops say Cujo was purchased on the street for $1,500 by a woman who didn't realize the puppy was stolen. The guy who allegedly faked the medical emergency is in custody, charged with theft. The others are still at large, and so is that stolen puppy.
Powerful stories that change the way you think. Impactful investigations that change the way you see.
How many times has your car been stolen?
5 times.
Yeah. What? Do you think that you're a responsible owner of tigers?
I damn sure do.
Heartwarming moments that change the way you feel.
I feel amazing.
Now available in a place that changes the way you watch TV. Inside Edition, streaming.
The national egg shortage continues. Thieves were caught on camera stealing more than 500 eggs from a restaurant in Seattle. And while you probably check your eggs to make sure none are broken, these days you have to check to make sure you get a full dozen. As Jim Murray reports, people are snatching eggs right out of the carton.
A brazen heist as thieves break into a shed and grab the goods, stashing everything into the getaway van. Now round 2, the bad guys grab more stolen goods. Back and forth they go, running in the slippery snow. So what's so valuable? Eggs. Thieves made off with 540 eggs. This follows last week's great egg robbery when 100,000 eggs were stolen from a distributor in Pennsylvania. It's happening as bird flu cases surge, sending egg supplies plummeting and egg prices soaring. I spoke to the owner of Luna Park Cafe in Seattle, where the bandits struck.
Did you ever in a million years think that you would be the victim of an egg heist?
No, I never. I've owned the restaurants for 18 years and I've never had a theft in my restaurant.
At this market in Los Angeles, I found lots of egg shelves bare and a sign warning of supply shortages.
Wow, look at that.
At this Costco in New York City, Inside Edition producer Emma Cady found signs declaring 3 egg cartons per customer. But this shopper is loading up his cart with lots more.
There's signs that say there's only 3 eggs per customer.
The shopper said he didn't know and promptly returned the eggs.
Staff at a British grocery store called the police after seeing a pair of legs dangling from a hole in the store's ceiling. A little after 6 in the morning, Nottinghamshire police were called out to a Sainsbury's local store, where an alleged thief entered the establishment in an unusual way. The dramatic entrance through the store's ceiling was all caught on surveillance video. Drink bottles fell to the floor as the suspect swung his legs. The suspect must have been feeling lucky. Once he hit the floor, he made a beeline for the store's stash of lottery scratch-off tickets, taking about £200 worth. Cops say he also grabbed some chips, detergent, and a bit of food before heading out a fire exit. A 50-year-old was arrested nearby on suspicion of burglary and taken into custody. Authorities say the store was closed to the public at the time, so only the opening employees were there to witness a man coming through the ceiling. And this is how you steal a golden toilet. Authorities in the UK have just released surveillance video of a 5-year-old crime. In 2019, a group of creative thieves struck Blenheim Palace, the birthplace of Winston Churchill.
A group of offenders broke into the palace and stole a high-value toilet made out of gold that was on display.
The toilet they grabbed was made of 18-karat gold and was insured for $6 million. 2 cars drove across the palace lawn in the footage shown to jurors in the court case. About 5 minutes after the thieves' arrival, they're seen taking the golden toilet out of the building. The 216-pound gilded loo was loaded in the back of a stolen Volkswagen Golf car. The pricey chamber pot is a piece of art that was showcased at New York's Guggenheim Museum. The title of the golden toilet that really flushes is America, and the artist Maurizio Catalan offered it to Trump to display at the White House during his first term as president. 5 defendants are facing multiple charges in this case. 2 have pleaded guilty to some of the alleged crimes. Authorities believe the toilet was broken up and melted down. It is never flushed again.
How did a bunch of safes end up dumped alongside a remote Los Angeles freeway? And what is in them? Jim Murray speaks with a couple reunited with their safe, hoping the valuables are still inside.
It's the Valley of the Stolen Safes. A volunteer cleanup crew stumbled upon the secret dumping site, which was apparently being used by a burglary ring.
We're going to need every single person to pull. Let's get this safe. It's about 600 pounds.
That stolen safe and a half dozen others were found at an illegal dumping site miles away from where they were stolen. They were all forced open with important documents and other valuables still inside.
There's something in there.
Good Samaritans David Weisberg and Nancy Nicoloro made the startling discovery along a remote portion of the Los Angeles freeway.
I was completely shocked and amazed and bewildered.
They managed to physically haul the heavy safes up the steep ravine. Inside, they found documents and priceless family mementos that the burglars had left behind. They then took the next step and started tracking down the rightful owners. So you connected the documents with the jewelry, and the people must be stunned.
Stunned.
Ken and Rhonda Ramage were among those whose personal safe was stolen by the burglary ring.
It's almost like surgical precision. They had something in mind. Looking at the video, they went right to the garage, to the safe, and then rolled it out the side door.
Their safe had been cut wide open. Many of the valuables were gone, but some documents were still inside, apparently of no interest to the thieves.
So this is your mom's marriage certificate.
Yes.
From 1947. You have Social Security cards for you, Rhonda, passport.
We are so appreciative, can't be more thankful for doing the right thing and going to the effort of trying to find us.
The safes were found about 50 miles from where they were stolen.
Just look at the vandalism to this $100,000 Tesla Cybertruck. Dozens of Cybertrucks at a parking lot in Fort Lauderdale were spray painted with a vulgar term directed at Tesla owner Elon Musk. Some vandals recorded themselves in the act. Across the USA, owners of the distinctive-looking vehicles say they're being targeted by strangers. Cybertruck owners are being flipped off in traffic.
That's probably happened about 3 times in the last 2 weeks.
They also wrote a nasty message. It's gotten so bad, Emler Morales won't take his purple Cybertruck certain places.
Mine is purple, so it grabs a lot of attention. And so I think twice about places I need to go to and make sure that I really need to go.
Dr. Kumate Jaroj got nasty calls when Cybertruck haters found out he was a doctor.
I hope you kill yourself. Please do the world a favor.
He told me to put a bullet in my brain.
Angry protesters stormed a Tesla dealership in New York City. And look, this Tesla driver flips the bird at them. There are also lots of videos online of people reacting to Cybertrucks.
Oh, this is ridiculous.
I was curious what kind of reaction I would get driving a Tesla Cybertruck around New York City, so we rented one to find out, and it didn't take long. We had one guy boo at us, another guy cheered, one lady stuck her tongue out, and then somebody just gave us a thumbs up. So the reaction was kind of mixed. So do these Cybertruck owners have buyer's remorse?
Absolutely not. I'm in love with the Cybertruck.
I want to take up the fight. You know, I'm going to keep the truck.
The Stanley Cup is the top prize in hockey. It's also the name of a wildly popular and pretty expensive insulated drinking mug. So it's no surprise Stanley Cups have become a target of thieves.
It's a Stanley Cup crime spree.
Watch what happens when these ladies spot a wall of the wildly popular mugs at a sporting goods store in Cincinnati. One by one, they stuff them into bags, snatching 28 in total before sprinting out the front door. Look at them go. In another incident in Florida, 24 Stanleys were taken.
You realize we have y'all on video, right?
Stealing the Stanley Cups from the Ace Hardware here, then y'all go to the Ace Hardware over here.
Ever since the tumblers became a hot commodity last summer,
I got a Stanley!
police say they've been busting thieves across the USA. Just look at all those stolen Stanleys stored in the trunks of cars. In Ohio, police say they arrested this woman going 115 miles per hour.
Hands up!
And when they pulled her over, look what they say they found.
The evidence is in the trunk.
Stolen Stanley Cups.
Tell me what I did. Stealing from Dick's.
She's pleaded not guilty. Police say some crooks are getting clever, like this woman who is carrying a printed list of limited edition mugs so she can target the most expensive Stanleys. Louisiana Sergeant Jake Morris.
As Stanley releases all these new vibrant colors, the criminals are targeting that. They're intelligent enough to know what's going to sell on the street.
Stanley Cups can go for big bucks online. The limited edition purple collaboration with singer Olivia Rodrigo. This one is selling on eBay for an opening bid of $10,000.
They say hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. It's video that cops say shows a 34-year-old woman throwing a brick right through the window of her ex-boyfriend's house.
Someone just threw a rock through my front window. I just heard shattered glass and a big bang.
And get this, the brick that the woman allegedly lobbed into the window is just like this, made to commemorate their first date with a special message engraved right on top. Jet skiing, June 14th, 2020, the brick reads. So what did Sabrina Coyne say when cops in Bonita Springs, Florida were called to the scene? She flat out denies it.
Did you launch anything in there?
No.
You sure?
Yes.
Even as cops bust her, she continues denying she did it.
I didn't break the window.
We'll speak about that now.
I did not break the window.
Again.
I did not break the window.
Give me a second so I can read.
And again.
Officer, I did not break the window.
Okay, we'll speak about that now.
I did not break the window.
Well, here's the video that says otherwise.
She looks right at our deputy. He's asking her questions. She's caught red-handed on video. Denies everything, completely uncooperative.
Sabrina Coyne's ex is a doctor. They broke up 6 months ago.
This goat thinks something is really hilarious. He's laughing like a human. So, what does his goat friend have to say? Guess he didn't get the joke.
It's the horrific moment an argument at a traffic light turns deadly as the vehicles involved go on their way.
And there's people shot right now. Somebody just got shot.
A woman celebrating her birthday is killed. Cops say the shooter is the guy in the passenger seat of the gray pickup. He and the pickup's driver allegedly began verbally arguing with the occupants of the red SUV, which led to a brief physical altercation. The SUV drives away, but the pickup drives alongside. That's when the gunman allegedly displayed a handgun at the victims, stating he would kill them, and said, "I don't care to do 100 years. Then...
Oh my gosh!
11 shots ring out.
There's 2 people shot!
The pickup disappears into the distance. A 911 caller desperately helps tend to one of the victims.
Just hold pressure on it, don't move her. No,
they're trying to perform CPR. Okay. Looks like somebody's on the ground.
The driver of the SUV was killed. She had been out celebrating her 48th birthday with her family in Panama City, Florida. Her daughter, Mary Lee, was critically injured. Inside Edition spoke to Mary Lee's father and brother, David and Davin Lewis, about how she's doing.
She is still on the ventilator. She can communicate with me, but she just is not. She's unable to speak, unable to use her right arm.
Jubal Simmons has been charged with murder. The alleged driver of the pickup is charged with eluding police. A GoFundMe has been set up to help the family with funeral and hospital costs.
It's heart-stopping video. A millionaire businesswoman is desperately trying to flee an assassin who chases her around her luxury SUV. She makes a break for it, but the cold-blooded killer guns her down. The victim is 44-year-old Jessica Torres, who owned a vast commercial real estate empire across Southern California. The horrifying drama unfolded in this parking lot in San Bernardino. Jessica Torres had just pulled in for an early lunch at her favorite fast food restaurant when she was struck down. At first, police thought it was a robbery gone wrong, but now they say there was a much more sinister motive: a murder for hire. Surveillance video shows Jessica leaving the restaurant and walking to her $175,000 Mercedes G-Wagon. As she opens the door, another SUV pulls behind and blocks her in her parking spot. The assassin climbs out of the passenger seat and confronts her. He grabs her purse, steps back, and fires. But incredibly, he misses. Brave Jessica leaps out of the car. What follows is an epic life-or-death struggle as she tries to wrestle the gun from him. A good Samaritan runs out of the restaurant to help, but he runs for his life when the gunman opens fire. Then that terrifying chase around her vehicle as the gunman fires again and again at her, 9 times in all. 4 hours later, the alleged assassin and getaway driver were tracked down thanks to surveillance video and witnesses. Then came the next shocking development. Police say it wasn't a robbery gone wrong at all. They say turns out 2 of the suspects had links to the victim's husband. Jessica's 53-year-old estranged husband, Sergio Reveles, was charged with plotting the murder along with 3 other men, a total of 5 suspects. Police body cam shows SWAT teams raiding a house in San Bernardino to make the arrests.
Definitely a murder for hire case. There is evidence to show that the suspects did stalk our victim for several days and months prior to this murder.
Torres and her husband have been locked in a contentious divorce for the past 2 years. He and the 4 other suspects have pled not guilty to murder.
TV sports reporter Aiden Manzano was in New Orleans to cover the Super Bowl. He reported live from opening night, interviewing Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, but he never made it to the big game. The Telemundo Kansas City anchor was found dead in his hotel room 2 days after filing this report.
Patrick Mahomes, not great.
Police say he was a victim of the so-called Bourbon Street hustler, Danette Colbert, who has a long criminal record for drugging unsuspecting men in the French Quarter and robbing them.
She did drug men and then steal their property. So this kind of fits her MO. She's a threat to any unsuspecting victim out in the streets.
Colbert was caught on surveillance video with Manzano in the lobby of his hotel and waiting for an elevator. His body was discovered in his room the next day. She has not been charged with his murder, as police are awaiting a toxicology report. She is being held on other charges. 52-year-old David Butler says he was one of her victims in 2021. After a drink with her in the French Quarter, he felt woozy.
She ushered me over to this black Suburban, and that's the last thing I remember until the next evening.
When he regained consciousness nearly 24 hours later, his Apple Watch, phone, and credit cards were missing, and $85,000 in cryptocurrency had been taken from his account. Colbert was convicted but sentenced to 5 years probation. Furious at what he considered a light sentence, Butler wrote the judge with this warning: if someone dies due to her actions in the future, their blood will undeniably be on the hands of those who allowed her to escape real accountability. What was your reaction when you learned she was suspected in this reporter's death in New Orleans?
It made me sick to my stomach.
Now he's asking other men who believe they were victims of the Bourbon Street hustler to come forward.
People like Danette Colbert, they want us to hide in the shadows, and that's what helps them continue to commit the crimes that they commit.
This African gray parrot was stolen, a pet store in New Jersey says, and this is the man wearing a Nike hoodie they believe is the culprit. The owner of the shop, Birds by Joe 2, located in Saddlebrook, tells NJ.com he came in the middle of the afternoon asking numerous questions about the pricey bird, which cost a whopping $7,000. After the man asked to buy the bird, he then took off with it. In its cage, the owner said. African greys are native to West and Central Africa. They're popular not only because they can live for up to 60 years, but also because they can mimic human speech.
1, 8, 10, 3.
21% of the wild African gray parrot population are illegally hunted each year. due to the demand for exotic pets, according to the group World Animal Protection. Anyone with information on this stolen African gray is asked to call police at 201-587-2940.
He's the passenger who was pushed in front of an oncoming subway train.
I just thought, I've been pushed and I'm going to die.
Joe Linsky tells GMA about the moment that changed his life. He just finished having brunch on New Year's Eve and was waiting for the train to pull into the station when, out of nowhere, a disturbed man in a black jacket shoved him into the tracks.
And the next thing I know, I was flying through the air and I saw the two lights of the train in my face. And I could make out the shape of the conductor, and then I crashed into the tracks, and I smacked my head open on the ground.
Be advised, I do have a male on the tracks at that same location. He pushed the male, so the male's under the train right now.
He was under the train for 4 minutes before his rescue. He's alive.
And they told me to raise my hands above my head, and 2 firefighters on the platform pulled me up onto the platform, and I heard my ribs crack. It was unbelievably painful.
The 45-year-old victim suffered a fractured skull, 4 broken ribs, and a ruptured spleen. Linsky showed GMA the scuffed pink sneakers he wore that day, a reminder of his miraculous survival.
It's a powerful reminder that this can all be taken away from you at any moment.
A police pursuit that ends with the driver putting his arms up in the air. A KCBS chopper captures the drama unfolding on a Los Angeles highway when the allegedly stolen pickup truck's tire is blown off and there's nowhere else to go.
Let's see what they're going to do now. If they're going to try to get out and run or just give up. Okay, now we have the hands up, and I don't think he wants anything to do with that canine, and the vehicle is definitely done.
The suspect gets out of the truck with his hands in the air, surrendering to law enforcement.
The engine compartment, it could ignite the fuel lines, and then it turns into a vehicle engulfed in flames. So they were very wise at least to stop the vehicle when they did.
Police order him to the ground and he's handcuffed.
They said if this guy gets out and runs, we are going to unleash the dogs on him. And that would be a very, very painful ending for this suspect. And, you know, it's going to end one way or another in handcuffs.
Then police make sure no one else was in the truck. Meanwhile, traffic builds on the other side as California Highway Patrol finish their arrest and investigation.
We've got the fire department here as well. Might just do a kind of a cursory check on that suspect before they take them off to jail. It didn't look like they were injured in any way, but yeah, unfortunate for traffic here.
It's a brazen robbery, all caught on camera. Watch as this guy in a yellow hoodie walks into the Metro PCS store like he's about to shop. Then, all of a sudden, he pulls out a gun from under his shirt, while an accomplice, another man in black, walks through the door. The suspect in yellow forces the workers of the Houston, Texas cell phone store into the back stock room, telling them to empty their pockets. One of the employees holds up his hands when he's in the back, while the man in black holds up a phone demanding the passcode, according to police, who add that shots were fired both inside and outside of the store. One of the employees was shot by the gunman 11 times. He survived but is in the hospital. Anyone with information on who these suspects could be is urged to contact the Houston Police Robbery Division at 713-308-0700 or Crime Stoppers at 713-222-TIPS for a reward when they are identified and arrested.
Powerful stories that change the way you think. Impactful investigations that change the way you see.
How many times has your car been stolen?
5 times.
Yeah. What? Do you think that you're a responsible owner of tigers?
I damn sure do. Heartwarming moments that change the way you feel. I feel amazing. Now available in a place that changes the way you watch TV. Inside Edition, streaming.